Welcome to Hive Live's podcast series, from inspiring success stories to online marketing trends and advice. Join Hive Live CEO John Kemble as he talks with thought leaders in interactive marketing and online communities.
Hi, I'm John Kemble, CEO of Hive Live, and I'm here today with Jeremiah Aoyang, a senior analyst with Forrester Research and a leading expert and thought leader on social computing and interactive marketing. In my opinion, he's the perfect guest to help us break ground and kick off this podcast series. So, Jeremiah, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me to the inaugural session. This is great.
We're looking forward to getting your perspective on the market as a whole and some guidance for companies who are looking to design and develop their social networking and social media strategies.
Sounds great.
So let's jump right in and start with the big picture. From our perspective, it's clear that enterprise social networking is here to stay. You guys have been following this market from the start. You talk to a lot of people. You see a lot of things. How would you describe and characterize the current state of this market?
Let's just start with numbers, some raw data. So we've done some forecasts, and we're looking at how enterprises are spending on social computing, social media tools. And we broke that down by social networks. And interestingly enough, we found this was the largest bucket of where social media dollars were going towards social networks. And that's both for internal and external software use. And in 2008, we've already found out that it's around, around 253 million. And then we forecasted it to 2014, and we're going to see that grow significantly, approaching to the 2 billion mark. But the key takeaway here is this is a growth trend, and it's going to continue to happen as companies really want their customers and their employees to connect and start communicating with each other.
That's great. I like how you alluded to the fact that internal and external applications are different. We've noticed that Forrester is actually one of the few firms that makes a clear distinction between internal and external settings, distinguishing between employee and customer communities. Can you help us understand how they're different?
So we should first focus on not the technology, but the use of the business problem. So externally, marketers like using these tools because it helps to glean intelligence or excites customers or generates leads. Product teams may like these for the support with customers, increasing that. But internally, the use case is different. It tends to be more around collaboration and knowledge sharing and knowledge management, which is kind of a throwback to what we've seen, in the last 10 years within intranets. So different use cases, although they may be using similar technologies.
Speaking of technologies, over the last couple of years, we've observed a lot of focus on the social technologies themselves, from point solutions like blogs and wikis and forums to social networks and even platforms. We all have our taxonomies. But it feels that recently the conversation is moving. It's shifting. There's a growing hunger for full solutions, for a clearer path to business value. So can you help us connect the dots? When a company is using an online community to reach out and connect with their customers, what's the business value that they're getting?
Well, a lot of marketers, and I can tell when they haven't really thought it through, they know it because their competitors are doing it, or they notice that their customers are actually building a lot of communities. They'll typically answer, we want to increase awareness. So often that's the most regurgitated answer. Now, when you start looking at the more sophisticated ones, some folks actually want to move the needle. They want to leverage word of mouth trust, and our research indicates that people trust folks like them or their friends or their network more than anybody else. I mean, that's almost common sense.
Right.
So that's a real key indicator. Now, a lot of them want to actually move people down the marketing cycle and let them create, generate leads or registrations.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how sophisticated these particular marketers are. The market is slowly moving to what's being called engagement, which is a very loose buzzword that it's described by different people. And essentially the formula is, how are people interacting with the website and each other? How interested are they in the particular topic or the brand? Now, so there's a few challenges with measuring engagement. Number one is not everybody agrees what it is because it varies from company to company, brand to brand. And the real challenge is finding the actual criteria to measure that. Most marketers are measured on leads and generating referrals or hits or clicks. They're not measuring how much time did somebody spend on site, how much time did they spend interacting with each other or sharing information. So the information and the way it's measured is still very nascent. We haven't figured it out, and there's no industry index.
Right, so the primary goal is to drive engagement, participation. Sophisticated folks are looking to move the business needle, analytics are still greenfield.
Absolutely.
Let's move a little bit from the why, the business benefits of customer engagement, to a little bit more about the how. And again, you talk to a lot of folks. What are some of the challenges that you see companies facing as they design and implement their community strategies or even their broader social media strategies, given some of these unknowns?
Right. So I'm doing a report right now just on community platforms, and I'm interviewing 27 brands that have deployed communities. So I really have a good sense of what are the common things. And I'm hearing one trend, and it's almost this 80-20 ratio. 80% of the effort it takes to launch a community and do it right is internal resources, staffing, and processes. Only about 20% of it is the actual implementation or the technology itself. Now, why is that? It's because most companies and brands are not yet sophisticated to understand that they need to communicate with customers as they would in a physical store, but now do it online. Marketers don't think that way. They're used to publishing. Secondly, they're not staffed correctly. They don't have community managers. And it's just really a mindset that they're not used to. So it's a real big cultural shift within companies. Now, in order to compensate that, brands are having to lean on vendors or partners or agencies that have experiences to do these things. They've helped other folks with strategy, education around social media, and they're able to help them develop a kickstart plan and implement and rebrand the sites. So a lot of companies are looking for partners that are going to hold hands with them and go through this process together, not just throw a technology stack at them.
That makes a lot of sense. And maybe on the heels of that, back in June we were with you at the Community Unconference in California.
Yep.
During the event and afterward, you did a great job summarizing on your blog some of the key concerns expressed by community managers at the event, maybe some of the folks you're just talking about. And I noticed that one of the central themes was around a lack of flexibility in today's tools. Can you explain a little bit more about that? Why is flexibility so important for customer communities?
Right, and even in this research I'm doing, I'm hearing that echoed even more from brands. So if brands are going to have a branded community, their own version of Facebook or MySpace, they want it to be very flexible and to morph into the user experience and the look and feel of their current brand. So they're looking for true flexibility, systems that can be able to move and integrate and really start being reskinned to the way that they want it to look for their community. And what else is interesting is that communities are different. They change over time. So some of the features need to change as the needs of the community change. So locking them in with one particular feature, like a feed reader or a blog or a forum or a wiki, and then setting that page in stone isn't really indicative of how humans act socially. So there's some flexibility that needs to happen. Now, HiveLive actually is a very flexible platform based upon the briefings that we've had. Some of the challenges that people may have is how do you actually make sure that every member is going to be ready to use a lot of the flexible tools.
Flexibility to be able to adapt, but who in the community is actually going to take the keys and do that?
Right.
Yeah, that's great. So how about some key success factors? If I'm a community manager at a company and I'm in charge of shaping and maintaining a healthy community, what should I be thinking about? What should I be focusing on?
So the biggest things we talked about is that internal process change. So the brand has to be ready to communicate with customers, has to be ready to support them, be ready to answer their questions and be part of the community and talk with them. And that's requiring them to have the right processes in-house, and then having the two key roles that I've outlined in my research, which is the social computing or social media strategist, which is internally focused person that knows the business side and business processes, and then the community manager, one who's externally focused, that's ready to help the community and be a real voice and a face of the company.
That's great. So that's a little bit about the how. As we've all discussed, they're here to stay. We're on the front of a very big shift in how companies connect with their customers, and we're all looking up and we're all looking forward and wondering where it's all going. And again, you see a lot of things. You talk to a lot of people. Could you help characterize what you're seeing going forward? Take some of the fog and help clarify it for us, both in the short term and the long term?
Yes. So part of my job is to look forward and try to anticipate what's going to happen. So I see a 2-year plan, and I also see a 5-year change as well. So in the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot of these community platforms